Hey everyone, welcome to today's video. Welcome to the Video Game Fight School channel. Thank you very much for tuning in and clicking the video. I really do appreciate it. Today, I want to talk a little bit about combat systems in Gotham Knights. Now, I've treated this topic on different fronts, but I wanted to point out something that I feel is quite interesting. And this is probably going to lead to a series that I'm going to start working on where we're discussing different kinds of combat encounters that might be viable in this game. So first of all, if you guys remember from the reveal of this game, they went ahead to show us a combat mechanic against a boss, a known villain in the Batman Rogues Gallery. That known villain was Victor Freeze. They went ahead and did this, and the combat that we saw was basically a melee style combat where it seemed like Batgirl and Robin had the opportunity to rush down this character. Now, yes, Mr. Freeze, according to the Arkham games, if you've seen or played any of them, they're a very challenging character to approach because, you know, he's really difficult and it supposedly has been designed to be really smart. So proximity is your downfall. And this has been an established theme from two of the Batman games that we've actually played where we encounter him basically face to face. But then in looking at the gameplay that they actually did, showcase at the Gotham Knights, reveal under the DC Fandom event, it was really shocking to see, Mr. Freeze basically getting rushed down just like this. And I think it made fans wonder a little bit. I mean, there are many things you can say about it. It's just the beginning of a combat system. It doesn't really mean that this is what you're going to get. That might just have been the beginning where they give you a tease where you feel like you can just rush him down, and then he goes into Mr. Freeze mode where he starts to throw out gadgets. He starts to do some really cool things like he did in that fight that you had against him in Arkham City. You know that fight? Do you guys remember the fight against Mr. Freeze in the GCPD building? If you do not know or remember that fight, I would encourage you to maybe take a few minutes to look it up. And it's a fight where you actually have to take down Mr. Freeze in a cerebral manner rather than just based only on melee compared to other bosses that you get to encounter where you take out their guys either via stealth or whatever. With Victor Freeze, you really have to be stealthy and take opportunities to melee. And I think that's likely what we're going to be seeing here in Gotham Knights. We're going to still see that tradition of both melee, and we're also going to see the tradition of stealth combat at play and the cerebral aspects of fighting. Even though it's not been necessarily emphasized, nor even though it hasn't been highlighted, in the very best sense, I can't help but say that this is something that a lot of fans are going to be looking forward to. Now, here is another thing that I feel like a lot of people might, call as a challenge. And, that might be characters like, oh my gosh, Red Hood. Okay, now, I love Red Hood. Red Hood is my second favorite in the Bat family. And I say second favorite because Barbara Gordon is my favorite. I think Arkham Origins really did, the way she was written, it really had a big impression on me. And since then, it's been really, really rough to kind of, get Red Hood back on number one. But Red Hood's fighting style is not a fighting style of, the silence that you'd expect from, say, a character of his nature. Red Hood's fighting style is a fighting style that is very loud, using his sidearms, his pistol. And even when Patrick Redding was describing his story, he talked about, Red Hood being in a place where he was coming back to try to gain redemption. So my very first guess is the rounds in his weapon are going to be stun rounds. I don't think those rounds are going to be designed to basically, kill the target. I don't think they're mortal rounds. I don't think they will deal mortal injuries, if you get what I mean. I think their goal is to stun the enemy. But nonetheless, these are projectiles that are going to be fired at the same rate as a real life round will be coming out of a weapon. And so this is going to make a lot of noise unless perhaps you can get silencers. Maybe they have a mod of that kind where, if you can equip something like that, then you can go, into a scenario where you need to take out people that are using stealth, and you can use some of that to your advantage. But other than that, I really do think the combat will be very interesting once it gets exposed. And there is much to still be investigated. And I think this is the very first part that they need to lead with their marketing as it comes to light, because regardless of all of the really cool stuff that a game like this may have, combat is really going to be at the center of many people's minds. That's what the Batman family does. That's what the Arkham games are about. Even the Spider-Man games, even though they've done a good job with story, with graphics, with presentation and writing, the designers and developers even confess to being inspired by the Arkham games when they were making their game. Yes, they did a good job making the game unique to Spider-Man, but it's very, very telling, especially from Spider-Man of 2018, Marvel Spider-Man, how people saw that. So I'm hoping that the folk at Warner Brothers Games Montreal are able to bring everything, both the traditional aspect of what we see in combat and also that cerebral thinking side where the villains try to outsmart you and you not only have to depend on your melee strength, but now you have to go further than that. And so that's pretty much what I wanted to talk about in this video, but I wanted to hear your thoughts. I'm really interested in hearing what you guys think. How do you think the combat's going to play out? Are you thinking that it's going to show up and it's going to be really cool? Or do you think that it's something that, we may have to get a little bit used to, because having gotten used to, kind of that different combat from Arkham, even though some may like and some have, even mentioned that they're not really fond of the Arkham combats, even though I love the darn thing, it's going to be interesting to see pretty much what everyone, thinks once this game gets into our hands. But I'll be happy to share those, thoughts with you and share those moments. We've waited for this game, so we might as well play it however it turns out. I'm curious just to see how it is, and I really want to hear your thoughts, like I said. I'll talk to you all in another video. Thank you so much for your time and audience. I appreciate you guys a lot. Hopefully we'll see in another video. Peace out.